Whoa.
Morning, sunshine.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's the same at 10 a.m. as it is at 10 p.m. Is that what it is?
Right, man. That's I'm the real deal.
What's up, man?
I don't know why I didn't send the link. I don't know why.
I knew. Look, my wife was like, "Have you started yet?" I was like, "No, I'm just letting Larry. I'm letting him get a little pass so that I can
God.
give Larry some shit."
It's in here for fucking 10 minutes, man. Like everything was all set up. So stupid.
Oh man.
Nice. I like it.
Dude, that was a hell of a game last night.
Yeah, I was. Man, it's just. I was like schmoozing somebody. So I was like, I didn't realize the game started late, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I meet this dude, and I'm like, we're in this kitchen, and he just like starts BSing. So I'm like, all right. And then so I had no concept of anything. So I went downstairs, and the game hadn't started yet, and I just completely lost because I got there at like 8:00. So
right, you were ready to roll.
I was in like, like business mode at that point. I wasn't like ready to. I wasn't. My mind was elsewhere, so I had like one eye on the pregame stuff. So I didn't pick up on the fact that the game started late, which kept me out later than I wanted to be out. But whatever. But I got home. I left at halftime. Got home, and I'm trying to like look at my teams, which I didn't really check because I figured this was one game, and I'm like, I figure if I'm probably going to start all the guys that I'm going to start. They're probably all in my lineups already. So I didn't go through any of my teams before. Did you go through every one of your teams before the game started?
Yeah. I went through all my teams at like 4:30. I wanted to make sure that I had to go to work, and I was like, oh shit, I need to. Thursdays suck for me because if it gets busy, I can't just go look through.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't have that many. I didn't have that much going on, like that much exposure to the game last night.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I guess we can get into it. We're already live. So we just start.
Yeah.
So my business, so much to talk about. Anyway, all right, let's do this. Yeah, welcome to the Dynasty Hot Sauce Podcast. I'm Larry Monkey. You can find me on Twitter at @FFLarryMonkey. On the couch as usual during the daytime on Friday, TGI football. We got it's like a salmon mauve tea. I don't know if it's like pinkish, but a little probably more salmon-y here today. For my
vantage point. Bright ass orange.
All right, there he is. You heard him at Run DFF. Justin Rogers. What's up, my man?
I think my laptop turns everything pink. I think this is like bright orange, almost hunter orange.
Orange.
Yeah, blaze orange.
Of course. Oh, yeah, man. I know on hunter orange or prison outfit orange.
Right. Just in case. I'm just trying to make sure I'm comfortable in the orange in case anything ever happens.
Escaped convict orange running through the woods.
Is that what you mostly see in Jersey?
That's what I'm. Well, not every now and again, you'll get like a. So this happened one time. A cop came flying down my street, and I have a very quiet street.
Right.
You only see Amazon drivers on mine, people that live here. And this cop came flying out of nowhere, and he's just like, "Have you seen someone with you seen a little kid running around?" And I was like, "No, everything okay?" And they sped off again, and the car just took off again. I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't even know how we got over there, but hey, NFL football kickoff season is upon us. Here we go, baby. First question: Ravens Chiefs last night, yeah. Did you bench anyone that you wish you should have started?
Well, I mean, I benched Xavier Worthy in one league, but it's a league I'm really deep in, and so I mean, I'm not upset about it. But I mean, I wish his 20 points or whatever were in my lineup.
I have Worthy on the bench on one team also, which I'm disappointed in, but it looks like.
How many teams do you have likely on the bench?
My SFB team has 36 points of Isaiah Likely on the bench.
Yeah.
And I had a trade offer in my box I guess when the game started, I don't know. I went on sleeper. I got home after halftime, and that's when I had a chance to look at my team. So I was like running through my teams, and because I don't really know any of the stats, because I was watching the game at somebody's house, and it was somebody that it wasn't like a whip out my phone the whole time type of hangout. So I had my eyes on the game, but it wasn't calculating stats in my head. Like I didn't see any kickoffs really. I always missed the kickoff. I was like, oh man, was that a return? I because now I'm interested in kickoffs, with the new kickoff rule, and I'm in 2 leagues that actually have adjusted return yards based on the new rule. We can get into that in a little bit. But so I get home. There's a trade sitting in my inbox. Isaiah Likely for my Dulcich.
Oh.
Greg Dulcich, Denver Broncos tight end. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this seems like a smash. This was before, like, Likely was having a decent game at the time. And I'm going to see the band Lake Street Dive next week. And at MSG, Madison Square Garden. And my buddy texted me. So I'm looking at this trade. I get a text and I look at this text. And I finish with what I'm doing. He wanted my Venmo. So I got my Venmo, sent him the screenshot of the Venmo. I go back, I pull the trade back up, and I move my cursor over. Likely's breaking off that monster touchdown run.
No.
That's when I'm like, all right, I'm taking this. I click it on. I put my cursor over the accept button, and then boom, the trade disappears. The dude must have pulled the trade as he was running into the end zone.
Yeah, let this be a lesson to everyone. Because there are people like Larry out there who will capitalize on this. Revoke your trade offers before the games start.
Yeah.
Revoke your trade offers because you never know what's going to happen. Yep.
I don't know. And again, things have been kind of busy lately. So I don't know how long the trade was sitting there. I don't know if he just had sent it to me. It's on Sleeper.
Yeah. That's a trade you'd make even before last night though, right?
Yes. Cause I have Mark Andrews.
Right. Yeah.
So even more so.
Some security blanket there. You did make a trade during the game.
Let's rewind. Xavier Worthy. Yeah. Hey, how many leagues? This is that. Blah 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 blah. I made an in-game trade for Xavier Worthy before his second touchdown.
Wait. You made it for him, or you gave him away?
I sent him away. I sent Xavier Worthy packing for. Now, let's just say 2 first-round picks.
227 firsts.
Or, now in this league, the future firsts are included in the rookie draft.
This is our Hot Sauce Listener League.
It's our Dynasty Hot Sauce Listener League. Join the Patreon and maybe, whatever. So, I look at this. Now, I cleaned up with second-rounders this year, and I picked up a lot of, late first-round guys in the second round.
Right.
Because of that exact reason, because the future firsts are out there, they get selected, before the late first round guys go.
Yeah. Like future firsts in this league traditionally start going around like the 109, 110, something like that. And so late first round players get pushed into the second round. Absolutely, that happens because then once the first start going, they start going hot and heavy.
Right.
Yeah, that does happen.
So for example, I took Xavier Worthy in the second round, and this was a late second round pick, by the way.
What was it?
The 207.
Oh, okay. So like the 221, 220.
Right. Yeah. So it was the 207. So I just traded him. I just listed him for 2. And again, and in traditional drafts or most drafts, this was 207. In most drafts, he was kind of like the 1-9, 110 guy, right? Wouldn't you say?
Right. This seems about right to where he was. Like where he was drafted was probably around the same area as far as players go. We just have so many picks going off the board between the late first and the early second.
So the point I'm trying to make is I'm just justifying this trade for myself is that
right. I would keep working on the justification. Yeah.
The first round picks. There was a dozen first round, more than that. God, if I count all the first round picks that went before Worthy.
Yes.
So my point is I have the option of taking a late round first, a mid to late round first, because of these picks are.
Yeah. You have here, I'll clarify this. You have the option of taking a first round value player in that second round, or getting a 27 first. That's how we'll go.
Right. So they're basically seconds or firsts, no matter how you look at it. Currently, also, unless it's a late second. But these are 2 early seconds. So I'm basically going to get a mid to late round, first round pick with these 2 picks. And at the time, I was like, you know what? Listen, I like Worthy, and he's on that Chiefs offense, and we went.
This was after that first explosive ass play.
Right. Yeah. The first play, which I saw.
He looked like damn lightning out there.
Right. So, and I know Fiery Zard. He's very impulsive. You know, I've met him for drinks. So, this trade comes in. I'm looking at it. I'm like, 2 first round picks for Worthy. Boom, smash. I don't care. I mean, so here's the thing. My team is pretty good, very, very young, but there's no depth. So I got the 2-for-1 special.
Yeah.
If I can, roll the dice again, kick the can down the road a little bit, because like I said, my team is very young, very, very young, tons of rookies. And, it would just have to be, the odds are not in my favor to catch that lightning in the bottle at the end of the season. So.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Like it'd be an uphill battle, and with the structure of the league right now, and where the strength teams lie, like that one guy's team that's at the top. You know what I'm talking about?
What, Benny J?
No, the other guy. The one whose first gets taken last every year now.
Oh, I can't remember his name. I just like weird colored shirts.
It'll come to me later. So there's a little bit of that. Like Xavier Worthy had 3 targets last night. Caught 2 of them, had the rushing touchdown and the receiving touchdown. If he keeps that rushing usage in there, like they keep slipping him the ball. I mean, he just had the 1 last night, but if they keep slipping him the ball, trying to get him in reverses and crazy ass plays like they did last night, you're going to have games like that. But we're doing some victory lapping around the world with Xavier Worthy that may not quite be worthy of yet.
See what you did there.
I mean, I love watching him. You got everyone out there knows that I'm a big Xavier Worthy guy. He's my wide receiver 2 in this class, but we need to see more. Just like I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Isaiah Likely.
Well, it's real quick though. This is a big stickler for you. I'd like to know how many of our listeners are actually 165 pounds. I bet you none of them, right? And that's how much Xavier Worthy weighs.
Oh, I don't know, man. There's some. Not everybody is 6'3". But you could be 5'8" and a little pudgy, and you weigh 165. You know what I mean?
165. Did you see that dude's waist? He wears child's pants. There's no way they make adult pants for that.
Are you telling me that he gets his jock strap from the kitty section?
Yeah, man. He totally. He's going to like the children's Carter's or whatever.
Oshkosh Bagosh.
Oshkosh Bagosh for his gear, man. That's what Xavier Worthy's wearing. Fucking overalls.
I think the bigger takeaway for me was Rashee Rice out of that offense. We'll get to Likely in a minute, but Rashee Rice, 9 targets, caught 7 of them. People were calling him slant boy because that's what he runs. He runs all these slants. They're a little deeper. Like he ran 10, 15 yards downfield this year.
Yeah.
But he's I replied to somebody on Twitter because they were saying he's Michael Thomas is back or something. I was like, a more athletic Michael Thomas. Yeah. Because at least when he gets that ball, he can turn up field.
Yeah. And he's got a great quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. That guy's pretty good.
So I'm looking at the HQ league where I have him, 19.8 points, 7 for 103.
Yeah, it's like every time that one has first down bonuses.
The
HQ league does, and all he does is catch first down. It's like over and over.
That's what you're going to do when you're running slants like that. It's just like he's just going to eat yards. But Rashee Rice, hope you didn't trade him, and I hope you traded for him.
Yeah, right.
When all that was going on, sounds like he's going to be not affected by
heavily used, and it looks like the legal stuff is going to hold off through the season.
Yeah. Now don't forget, we still have Hollywood Brown is going to have to be added to this mix, and Kelsey. Kelsey didn't have the greatest game either, So everyone's like, oh, Xavier Worthy, like that's all there's seeing the shiny piece of Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
With a side of rice.
I wouldn't downgrade Rice at any point because Mahomes only threw 28 times last night. The game script they didn't need to. That would be 476 throws for the season in 17 games.
Right.
The dude's not throwing 476 times.
And also don't forget that
there's more targets.
Teams are going to be now looking at Xavier Worthy a little bit more than probably the Ravens did pregame. Sure.
There's going to be a lot more targets to go around when it comes down to it.
If you can get 2 firsts for Worthy, man, smash that. People have their Mahomes colored glasses on right now. I mean, his value's through the roof. You get something, get like one of those Godfather offers. Some talent in that first round next year.
Yeah, there is going to be. You got to hit on them though. So let's talk about Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, because that was the big storyline coming out of the Ravens locker room after last night. Likely gets 12 targets, converts 9 of them for 111 with a tutty. Almost had a second tutty. Just so close.
Yeah.
Man, that was wild. That finish, the whole game was an incredible game, but that finish was electric for sure.
I missed
it happened just like that. Man.
I missed the left catch.
Oh my goodness. What is wrong with you?
You want to know what's wrong with me? I have a 2-year-old. So I'm in the basement because I don't want to wake anybody up. Yeah. And I'm watching the game, and it's like he's on the last drive, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Now they're like it's like it's a break before the last play, and next thing I hear the pitter patter like upstairs of like a little 2-year-old running down a hallway.
What's he doing?
So he gets up like every night. He gets up like right around midnight, and I just got to put him back in his bed, and he's cool. So I'm like sitting here staring at the TV, waiting for this play to happen, and I'm like, come on. Next thing you know, phone blows up. Where are you? I'm like, I just turned the TV off, and I'm like, I'm like, you know what? This game's there's nothing. This is out of reach. Whatever.
Oh my gosh, it's out of reach. 7-point game. There's like a minute and something left, and they're driving. You're like,
It was. They kept striking out. It was like the last play of the game. I literally left with the very last play.
5 seconds left.
I was like, they've been striking out in the red zone this whole time. I was just like, you know what? Let me just. I'm like, who cares? I'm like, I got to get up there. I had no other choice. I couldn't sit down here and like.
Man, if that game had not ended that way, if it had been a touchdown, he would have been the biggest hope.
Yeah, what is that? Ridiculous. And that's my life.
So you've watched it, like you've watched the replay, right?
I've seen the replay, yeah.
Yeah, on Twitter or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was wild. But yeah, so Likely gets 12 targets to, what did Andrews have, 3 or something like that? Or Mark Andrews had 2 targets.
Oof.
Caught 2 for 14. Mark Andrews didn't he have a car accident or something recently? A little stiff off that.
My God.
A week or 2 ago. The other thing is, Mark Andrews actually outsnapped and ran more routes than Isaiah Likely. So I don't think it's likely. See there? I don't think it's likely this repeats throughout the season. This is one of those games where Andrews was in line blocking a little bit, and then just didn't look as smooth as he has.
Right.
I don't know. I think that if you have Likely and you can get a truckload for him, you would do it. You could do it.
Would you give up a 25-second for him?
Sure. Yeah. I'd give up a second for him.
Would you sell him for a second?
No, I wouldn't sell him for a second. But if you can get a first,
because like I just told you how that trade was yanked for Dulcich.
Yep.
He traded Likely like 5 minutes later for a 25-second.
Yeah, that's fair. So somebody came in and said, "Hey, let me give you a second for Likely," and he's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have held out, especially now that he had a 9-catch game or whatever. I think I would have. I think if I had Likely, I'm shooting for a first around the league. I'm just spamming the league for a first. I bet someone sent it.
Or a decent player. That's because the season hasn't played yet. This dude had a monster game. This is a 2-point tight. This is a 2-point tight end league. He could have shopped him around for, like a position player.
Yeah, I always prefer. I mean, that's true. but it's hard to send out a spam offer that way. It takes a lot more work. It takes a lot more work to go after a player.
Well, Likely or Pickens.
Yeah, I'll take Pickens over Likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if that in a 2-point tight end and he has a game like that, and Pickens is kind of nothing to that type of production, though, a 2-point tight end.
Well, if you're getting 12 targets again. But what if he goes back to like 6 targets and catches 4 of them, which seems a lot more realistic given the fact that Lamar Jackson threw 41 times last night, which is astronomical in his world. He ain't throwing 41 times every game. He's not going to have the game script to throw 41 times. Trailing by a touchdown or 10 all game long, it kind of led them to throw. The same thing with Derrick Henry, not getting all the touches because of game script.
Yeah.
Someone I retweeted earlier, I can't remember who it was, and really feel like looking it up. But if you want to see the tweet, you can find it. I retweeted it. They were talking about his PPR scoring per game with when winning and when losing, like in losses and wins. It's like 22 and 12. It's like a 10-point swing or something like that. So that's something that's notable. When they're a favorite, like they're playing the Raiders next week. If you can go get Derrick Henry for cheap right now, like Derrick Henry and a third for a second, that might. I mean, I wasn't disappointed in this game. He scored. He got you like 12 points or something like that. It was fine.
Yeah, he just didn't break one. That's all.
Yeah, it was not a oh my gosh, Derrick Henry gave me 4.7 points kind of week. Which maybe without a touchdown, it would have been closer to that. But if I can get 12 on a bad week out of a guy, I'm happy. So hopefully that was a bad week. But we're already seeing the touchdown upside in that offense versus the Titans. So that's great. Yeah. Gotta love that.
And Justice Hill with 6 targets. Or actually, did he have 6 targets? He had 6 receptions.
Yeah, he was all over the place. Like he was just sneaking out of the backfield.
Yeah,
I found myself an extra HQ1 starter there. I'll probably be trying to move him.
Henry not targeted,
which is not surprising. I mean, you're talking about a guy who averaged like 2 targets a game for his career or something. It's minimal. And he's just non-existent in the passing game, which is it's crazy because when he does get the ball in open field on passes, he's electric. I mean, he just goes nuts on people, or at least he has in the past. I don't know if he still has that kind of juice in his legs. But man, I just remember that one like 90-something yard touchdown where he caught it out on the flat and just demolished the other team. This was years ago, but it was like 80 or 90-something yard touchdown down the left side. It was crazy.
Yep.
So, we're going to see better game script for them as far as Derrick Henry goes. We're going to see better opportunities for Mark Andrews. Don't panic on Mark Andrews yet. If you can buy low, somebody wants to sell him for a second, go buy Mark Andrews.
That's a sour. He left a sour taste in everybody's
He did.
mouth.
He absolutely did. There's a lot of people that are out there saying he's washed, he's toast, he looks broken, etc. And saying people are saying Isaiah Likely is their tight end 1. And look, I'm not saying he can't be, but I just don't want to overreact on one week when we have 5-6 years of data on Mark Andrews.
I mean, not a lot of yardage for Zay Flowers, but
good target total. What do you have, like 9 or something like that?
Yeah, 6 catches.
He had 10 targets. Yeah.
37 yards is kind of concerning. Hopefully, compared to Bateman, who had 2 catches for 53 yards.
Right. So
Flowers got the end zone too.
Lamar Jackson averaged 6.7 yards per attempt last night. It was
right.
His yardage was fine. He ran his ass off, but he looked terrible throwing the ball.
Yeah, he missed a wide open.
He missed the Zay Flowers in the end zone there, so he missed there. He just throws off his back foot, comes up high with his hips, and so he doesn't have any leverage, and just throws. I mean, throws go errant all the time. It's one of the complaints I've had with him is that he likes to try and like get up off his feet to throw a lot.
Yeah. I mean, first game of the season, you're kind of rusty, I guess, a little shaky. I'm sure he didn't. I'm not sure if he even played.
It's the same. It's the same throwing shit he's done for years, though. Like he doesn't plant and push. It's strange. Every time I watch him, I'm like, why is he so high throwing that ball? He's not digging his hips in and pushing off that back foot.
I mean, they're going to score a lot of points.
They are going to score a lot of points, and they're going to run into much better opportunities to do so, like next week against the Raiders.
Right.
Take the over on everybody on the Ravens next week because they're going to be fired up to get back on track.
I mean,
they're not going 0-2 against the Raiders. No way.
Yeah. I mean, and I've been trying to move Bateman since like his rookie year. He's stranded on any team that he's on. If he's not on waivers, but man, if he can just string together like 3 or 4 games without being hurt, and he just, if he gets some kind of yardage and maybe a couple more targets, I'm getting rid of him as fast as I can.
Yeah,
but I'm holding right now. What?
You get that third for him.
Yeah. I hope, I just hope he's something so I could dump him.
Yeah, as exciting as 2 for 53 is, that's 7.3 fantasy points.
Right.
It's a trash in the fantasy box score.
Right.
It's awful. So
I don't know anything about Pacheco. Monster game somewhat. I mean, only 45 yards, touchdown, but he looked good. Caught some balls too. 33 yards.
Yeah.
3 targets.
Yeah, he has 78 total yards and
no touchdown. This is a big defense. This is a big time defense. Baltimore.
There was early talk around the bar because I was working last night, which by the way was absolutely insane. Like, our bar manager came up to me and she's like, "Do we need to schedule a bar back?" And I was like, "This is not a normal game. Like, this is opening week, Chiefs and Ravens. This is not how it's actually going to be every Thursday night. Relax."
Oh, because
we've never had to worry about that before. Yeah. We're good. But it was insane last night. But the early talk was, what's the over-under in this game? Oh, they're going over that. They're going over it.
Oh.
Because both teams came out hot, scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then it cooled off real quick after each one of them scored a touchdown. It cooled off real quick.
It's going to be nuts tonight, though.
I don't think it'll be as crazy. The
Eagles
first
Packers
game
on a Friday night. Everyone's off tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah, but nobody cares about being off for a football game. They just go out and watch football.
You don't care. I care.
Yeah, but all right. The Chiefs or the Packers and Eagles are not going to carry the same.
It's in Brazil.
So
I don't know. It's like I think it's gonna.
Has anyone ever been like, oh my gosh, that game's in England, we got to watch it. That game's in Germany, we got to watch it. That game's in Mexico, we got to watch that.
I bet you there are.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is, when you go to a bar, the new thing is the draw. This was the first game of the season. It was absolutely crazy because of the combination of being Chiefs and Ravens, 2 very high-profile teams with a big market of fans around the country, and the fact that it was the very first game. I guarantee it'll be slower tonight at my bar. I guarantee it. Just knowing how that works.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the game. Maybe I'll get to see a little bit more of it.
I'm psyched for the matchup.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get to see a little bit more of it because last night I didn't get to watch hardly anything. It was so damn busy.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, I had to catch up a lot. Hey, what happened in that play? When there was a big play, that kind of thing. Asking somebody, hey, what happened? And then trying to watch replays. I didn't. By the time it got to the end, though, it was slow enough because people were cashing out and leaving, so I could watch that last drive. But yeah, it was.
So the Daddy-O's League, 14-team Dad's League I put together in town, heavy tight end premium. These guys are anyway, we did the draft, but I really want to talk about the wrinkle that I added this year. 1 point, and I took it from a page out of the Scott Fish Bowl. I added 1 point per kickoff return yard, 1 point per 5 yards.
Okay.
On kickoff, and 1 point per 10 yards on punt.
See, I would have done it the other way. I would have done it one point for 5 yards on punt and 1 point for 10 yards on kickoff because kickoff yards are so much greater than punt yards. But go ahead.
But okay, so and I mentioned this a couple months ago. I posted the new kickoff rules, and I was like, "Hey, this might be fun for." It's a 14-team league, so it's deep and super flex.
Yep.
And just to add a little spice to the player pool, bye week fill-ins, injuries and stuff, you can, you get that wide receiver 3 that returns kicks, and maybe you can get a day out of it. And there was one guy at the draft that was like, I guess he didn't quite understand it, and then once he understood, he was like, "Oh man, what the heck is this? Yeah, it's a return yard." He starts grumbling a bit. So I'm like, "Oh man, I still want it. I mean, I guess I can modify it, but after thinking about it, I'm like, I mean, like you said, the 5 yards per kickoff, some dude breaks one, and again, nobody knows what this is going to look like. There's only been, in 2002, only 2022, only 6% of NFL kickoffs, 6 out of 1,013. Were returned for a touchdown, and punts 3.3%. 3 out of 952 were returned for touchdowns. So that was kind of like my argument, because one guy was like, if a guy returns a 90-yard kickoff or a TD, that's 18 points, and then the touchdowns, the 6 points for the touchdown. And he compared that to a running back wide receiver that scores a 100-yard touchdown, which is only 11 or 12 points. So. And they may have had a point. My example was this, I provided like a real world, like a last night example. So this was before the game. I was like, if Deontay Hardy, who's the kickoff punt returner for the Ravens, he's also like the wide receiver 5 on the team. But you're not going to see him on offense. But if he gets 50 yards on kickoffs and another 20 on punts, that's a good day returning kicks that equates to 12 points. It's a decent spot starter or bye week fill-in. That was my logic. But the trick is also finding those players, and you want to get those wide receiver 2s or RB 2s that also return kicks, because of that offensive production. Anyway, fast forward to last night, Deontay Hardy, no kick returns, and there were no kick returns on the Ravens. The whole as a team, there were 0 kick returns on the team, and Deontay Hardy returned 1 punt for 3 yards.
Right. Yeah,
that's my example where I gave him
so he got 0.3 points.
Yeah, exactly. And on the flip side, the Chiefs, they did have Mecole Hardman returned 1 kick for 29 yards, and Carson Steele returned 1 kick for 28 yards. So in that respect, that's like 4 or 5 points. But again, just you're going to have your random guy that breaks one. It's just going to be a spot start where you're going to be high-fiving and jumping up and down if you're a random guy.
Yeah. See, you're playing the floor ceiling game with that, which is really exciting if you're a big underdog and you want to throw a returner in there and just hope for the play.
Right.
But man, if you could also end up with the 0.3 in your lineup because you started Deontay Hardy or something.
Right. And so he did the Daddios draft, and Daddios did their homework this year. I mean, last year there were only a couple quarterbacks taken in this 14-team Superflex, and I picked on the turn. And what was interesting is these guys started taking quarterbacks. It's a 3rd-round reversal also. But the Daddios did their homework, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 QBs went
in the first
round.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had the turn. I did not take a quarterback. I went Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you mentioned this in the Patreon, and it took me a second to realize what you were talking about when you brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, wait, are you not in the draft? I was like, oh, I know what he's doing here. So you took them, and then who did you end up with at QB?
I'll show you. So, oh God, what am I doing here? Oh, look at me.
No, I don't want to.
Here we go. This should work. All right.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking 3rd-round reversal. I took Goff and Cousins.
Yep. So you took Goff before Jaden Daniels, huh?
I did, and I was struggling between the two. And the reason I went with Goff is because I wanted to play it safe. And I know I probably shouldn't have played it safe, but I wanted to get there weren't too many legit QBs out there, because I didn't know what was going to come back to me.
Right.
And I mean, the Lions are going to score a lot of points, man. They're Super Bowl favorites, and I went and I was like, Jaden Daniels going to give me the rushing upside, but what if he gets hurt? Or what if he starts out slow? Like I get the end game with Daniels, but I want to start out strong in this league, and I figured Goff was the safe play, like the higher floor. And that's why I went Goff, and I did not I knew I did not know who was going to be waiting for me when I get back. I was hoping, I was just like, wow. Once Derek Carr went, and Trevor Lawrence was still out there, and everyone had a quarterback already, I was like, I might get T-Law here with to pair with Goff, and then he went, and then I was like, now I'm juggling.
What I can't figure out is why Derek Carr was drafted before T-Law, Kirk Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, even Geno Smith. I mean, come on. Why the fuck is Derek Carr up there? Did you really want his 15-point, 16-point ceiling? Like, what the hell?
So
that sucks. And he had already taken Stroud and Prescott. So he goes Stroud, Prescott with his first 2 picks, comes back with London, and then decides, I need a third quarterback. Let me get Derek Carr. What?
Right. This guy happens to be the least experienced guy in the league.
Oh, well, it should.
It was fun. This is the guy we almost kicked out. This is the guy that didn't set his lineup last year a number of times.
Oh, you gotta watch out for him this year.
Well, yeah.
At least he has running backs because you don't have any.
Well, so here's the thing. So before the draft, so I'm the commissioner of the draft.
Here's the thing on me, Larry. I don't want to hear here's the thing, okay? You got Jonathan Brooks is on IR, Marshawn Lloyd who's banged up, and Zach Charbonnet. Is there anybody else down at the bottom there? Scroll down.
I'm still leading up to who is in my starting lineup week 1.
Yeah, it's
not
scary.
Currently on my drafted team. So
oh gosh.
So 13 guys roll over. I'm making sure my wife and kids are okay in the house. I'm in and out of the house in the beginning. I'm kind of going nuts to getting everything set up. I got you know how it is when you do it at Wild Wings. You run around, make sure everything's perfect.
Yep. I get there like 2.5 hours early to do it.
So I'm just like
hour and a half early. Hour and a half.
I don't have that luxury, but so I'm just like, okay, all right, somebody mentioned like a keeper, since this is the second year of this league, all guys are returning. Let's do a keeper league. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not like you guys figure that out. Like, I just did everything else with the settings and if you keeper league's not my strong suit. It's not my specialty. I don't really know much about keeper leagues. I mean, I know what a keeper league is and stuff, but I'm not in any.
Yeah, right.
What I mean.
Experience.
So they're just like, all right, well, two players. They decided on 2 players, and somebody mentioned after the 5th round, and then you lose that round pick next year.
Sure.
If you decide to keep the guy that you chose in that round.
So this is where you went, Jonathan Brooks.
Well, I didn't realize that it wasn't the 5th round. You could do it any round. And I did not, and I didn't realize this until 1, 2, 3, 4 after my 5th round pick. Sure. I was like, wait, because then I would have been like, so the rule is all first rounders are returning next year. All in this draft.
If you drop them in the first round, they're not eligible to be kept.
Not eligible to be kept, right? But anyone after that is eligible to be kept. So I took Chase in the 2nd round. If I decide to keep him, then I lose my second pick next. Right. So I obviously would have gone Daniels over Goff if I had known that. And I also would have considered Caleb Williams also, which I had just missed. Again, I could have had Caleb Williams, or I could have had Martin Harrison or Daniels, but so once I realized this, and again, this is a heavy tight end premium. Tight ends are flying. They didn't fly off the board as much as they did this year. Like, it's a really colorful board, as you could see, man. I'm really happy with the way it looks. So I go Pitts. Next round's coming me, and now I learned this, and I'm like, okay, give me Brooks and Adunze. Let me roll the dice on 2 potential keepers. Who knows? So now I'm just like, okay, now my draft is taking a turn. Now I'm the defending champion here, and it's almost impossible to. I mean, it's impossible to win a 14-team league anyway, but to do it 2 years in a row. So I'm like, okay, do I can try to make a run, and I have a competitive team, or do I want to pick up 2 guys and just whatever? So now I'm just like, all right, my whole draft is like in chaos right now in my head because I'm like, I have a competitive team. And now I just took Brooks because of this keeper thing. And Adunze, who will hopefully be hopefully he'll bloom a little earlier than not at all. But and then I went Bo Nix as a third QB.
Right.
But yeah, that kind of the whole keeper thing kind of threw me off. And so my running backs are Brooks, Marshawn Lloyd, and Zach Charbonnet. None of which are starting running backs.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Are you guys doing one keeper?
2
keepers?
Right.
In my experience, you just don't worry about keepers.
Yeah.
You just draft your team because you're going to find keepers randomly through the season, especially if it's only 2. If it's like 6 keepers, you got to start thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
and you could pick one off waivers, and that doesn't count towards anything, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just like there's a lot that can happen.
But look at that look at my last pick in the last round. Hey now, JJ McCarthy, who knows?
No, you guys have an IR slot, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So you dropped him in the IR, and then hopefully you picked up a running back.
And then like I said, I mentioned these return yards, right? So, I go on. So you just do just a regular search, internet search, 2023 or 2024 kickoff return yardage leaders.
Right.
And it was Anthony Gould from Indianapolis, wide receiver, been running with the ones. He led all kick returners. He's running with the ones with downs out. He's like earned his way onto the top spot. Anyway, that's a running back. So now I'm like into this returner research. So I'm looking at returners, and Blackshear. Know him? Know his first name?
Raheem or Rasheem Blackshear. What is it?
It is in my starting lineup as a running back. Raheem Blackshear.
Yeah, Raheem. Yeah. Come on, man. Why are you gonna test me like that? Come on, man. That's dirty.
So you click on his sleeper profile. Raheem Blackshear, Carolina's top return man. So Carolina's gonna suck, right? So he's gonna be doing a lot of returning. This is my logic. Blackshear is set to serve as the Panthers' top kick and punt returner after the team parted ways with Amir Smith-Marset on Wednesday. Look, here's the analysis. Smith-Marset's waiving comes as a bit of a surprise as the fourth-year wide, yada, yada, yada. Nevertheless, Blackshear has amassed 943 kick return yards on 35 attempts across 2 seasons. He's now expected to return punts as well. So, kickoff.
So let's say he gets 450 kickoff return yards. That's 90 points. Right? 5 yards per kickoff return? I mean, 5 yards per point?
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Well, I mean,
no, I'm asking. I'm like you're
35. You want me to do the math?
I'm giving you the math. But if he gets 450 yards,
okay,
just kind of lowballing it because he had like 953 or something.
Yes.
So if he gets 450, that's 90 points. And then say he breaks 2 this season, so that's like 102 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you're still in a rough spot here for running back.
Well, here's the thing. It's either that Charbonnet, who's obviously split in time. It's either that or Charbonnet. That's probably who I would. That's who I would think. But I'm thinking I'm not rolling the dice with Blackshear on the road against the Saints.
Again, here you are playing the ceiling game with the floor game.
Oh, dude, I love rolling the dice, man. I feel like if this guy fucking returns a couple of kicks, if he gets me 12 points, I'm okay with it.
But the problem is, what if he gets you 5 points? You good with that?
He's projected to get 1.93.
Well, if you take his 953 yards, if you take his 953, so now he's getting like 475 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's 95 points. Divide that by 17. That's 5.6 points a game. Add the occasional touchdown in. But that means that when he gets that 90-yard return or 100-yard return, other games he's getting, like say he breaks off 190-yard return. So now you're only looking at 385 yards for 16 games.
Sure.
So 385 divided by 5 divided by 16. Now you're looking at 4.8 points a game outside of that one break. So yeah, you're still up shit creek at running back there, partner.
Yeah.
You need work. You need work. You better be hitting that waiver wire hard on the injuries. You need to be dropping some. Go back to your team. Let me see who you need to drop for backup running backs. You need something. I can't believe you didn't hammer running backs once it was there, once it was time.
There are a number of things I would have done differently. If I had to do this draft again, I would have.
How much did you drink during this draft?
I wasn't drinking prior.
You should probably tell people you were hammered just so you have an excuse for this.
That'll be my excuse. Hold on.
Yeah, like, why did you draft Gold?
Kick returner.
Oh God! I think you in your head you overplayed the kick return yards. If they're not an established player that gets kick return yards, they're not worth it.
Okay, but look. Okay, so who would you have taken if I didn't take Gold? You have P. Ryan, Jalen Wright.
Yeah, Jalen Wright, Jordan Mason, P. Ryan. I would have taken any of those guys.
Right. I was
because they're one injury away from actually having a role. Gold is just a guy who you're hoping to get 2 games out of that are usable the entire season. It's impossible to start. I would drop Gold and go get a backup running back.
There's not. I mean, it
don't matter what there is. There's got to be something.
Well, Antonio Gibson's out there.
Okay, there you go.
Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams, Justice Hill, Roshan.
Oh, well, see, Justice Hill is going to be a big grab this week. But I mean, I would grab just if you take what has Gold done the last few years?
He's a rookie.
Oh, he's a rookie this year. I couldn't remember.
Well, because he's a nobody.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem. Was he drafted? Or was he UDFA? He was a fifth round pick. Yeah.
They drafted him to be a punt and kick returner, so he's got that. He had an impressive camp, and if Downs is hurt, he might see some volume. I mean, he's not in my starting lineup this week. He's not going
to receive any significant receiving volume.
I need a running back, and
you need a running back instead of a sixth receiver. Like once you have your 2 receivers, then you go Odunze and Ridley, and then you're still grabbing more. Like, I mean, I get Shaheed because he could get 600 yards receiving and another 500 or 600 returning. I get that. But then you're at 5 receivers with 2 studs and 2 solid ones, and you grabbed Anthony Gold.
Right. So can you see my bench?
Yeah.
Who would you add? Who would you swap Gibson out for? Dortch, Gold? Yeah, probably Anthony Gold.
Yeah, Anthony Gold. Look, we've seen Dortch have opportunity and produce incredibly high. That's why when you asked them the Patreon, it was Dortch or I can't remember who else.
It was Dortch, Gold, or Blackshear, I think. No, Dortch.
No. There's another receiver. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But I lean toward Dortch because we've seen him have opportunity and do well. I'd go ahead and put my waiver claim in for Justice Hill as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going to start Gibson over Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Because he'll catch passes.
He's got. I mean, Charbonnet barely had a role last year. But I would put my Justice Hill claim in right now because I think there's going to be a role for him in there. I don't know what else you can do over here. Madison, you could claim Madison or Ty Johnson. I'm not sure who the actual backup is there. Is it Ty Johnson or is it
Ray Davis?
Ray Davis. I'm not sure really.
He made the 50-man. He made the roster.
Yeah. He's on the roster. Yeah. But yeah, like once you go heavy wide receiver, you can't just keep dumping in wide receiver unless you think you can make a trade. And unfortunately, you don't have anybody beyond. Like
No,
maybe like Shaheed doesn't really carry any trade value. So
no.
you have your top four, and then I don't know.
I mean, Tank Bigsby's still out there too.
See, and Pierre Strong still out there. Like, there's players. Dylan Lobby's still out there. You could grab Carson Steele.
Trey Sermon.
Mm-hmm. You could grab Carson Steele in the hopes that he keeps a return and gets his role in the offense.
Right.
He gets a few return opportunities and still gets to carry the ball a little bit.
Yep. All right.
I don't know, man. That's how I would build. That's for sure. I'd grab multiples of these guys.
I was eyeballing Justice Hill, and only because I was doing my kicker research, and he was supposed to be a part of the return game.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, Derrick Henry, man, Jesus, how old is he? You know. And Hill is only, what is he? Yeah, so he's Jesus, I can't believe Justice Hill is 26.
Dude's been around for a minute now.
He is.
I thought he was older than that. I thought he was like 27, 28.
Got 8 targets.
Yeah.
And again, the game script's going to be different as we go forward. But if anything happens to Henry, according to Harbaugh, he thinks Justice Hill's a starting running back.
Well, Justice Hill has carried the low before, so I mean, we've seen him in limited opportunities
coming into his own.
Right.
All right. Well, I gotta hope. That's the thing. This bench, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the bench.
It's too many wide receivers, man.
Yeah, I even got to get rid of Dortch.
You probably do need to get rid of Dortch.
I could pick up a guy right now. Who would you trade? Who would you pick up for this? Yeah, after seeing that first game, I mean, maybe teams are going to be like, you know what, we're just going to kick it in the end zone. Why chance a guy breaking one when we'll just take it on the whatever 30, 35 or whatever it is.
I don't. That's why I was afraid to like invest too much, like in SFB in the returners. Yeah. So I just don't know. I'd rather use heavy fab in week 1 if I need to. Like, but I'm not going to be going and grabbing the guy that like returns the touchdown. I want to see the person who gets three returns for 65, 70 yards, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rather than the guy who gets the one return for 102 yards and a touchdown. That doesn't tell me anything. So I want to see if there's some volume out there.
I mean, those are two, heavy. You go on those over unders that are up to that are 50. 49, 50, 51 points. Those are going to be touchdown. Those are going to be a lot of kickoffs. That's what I'm like, kind of salivating over. But I think right now I got to secure before I start rolling the dice on all these returners. I probably have to secure my running back position.
Yeah, because you're playing a redraft league, not dynasty.
Right.
Even with 2 keepers, it's nothing like dynasty. So you've got to play more for this season.
I'm sorting by the week 2. I got Herbert and Roschon, 2 Chicago guys. Madison, Vaughn, Jamal Williams.
I mean, I wouldn't have any interest in Jamal Williams.
Really. Bigsby's kind of intriguing.
He is, because he's got a direct backup role.
Maybe I'll pick him up instead of Dortch.
Yeah.
I mean, you sold on Dylan Lobb too. I mean, Madison's in on that.
No, I'm not sold on him at all. No, I don't think I'm sold on any of these guys once you scrolled past about the first like 6 or 8 of them. Right. As far as being direct backups.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bigsby's probably the best of the bunch here at this point.
Yeah. I think you need more backup running backs at the expense of positions that you're never going to start. Like you're never really wanting to choose Greg Dortch over the guys in your lineup. It's just not happening.
And these returners, like we saw last night, this is going to be a volatile position. This will be strictly for spot start, bye week, injury issue. I think as I've seen the first game and saw the strategy of just like, let's boot it into the end zone.
Yeah, it'll be absolutely just like desperation.
All right. Yeah. So how did you? I don't know. I don't know. We kind of covered everything, right?
Yeah, this was kind of just a initial reactions to the first game of the season kind of episode here.
I like it. So then that was that trade. Any trades you've been making? I guess that now they'll be paying more attention to my teams. It'll be an opportunity to make some more deals.
I haven't made any trades, and that Kelsey performance last night did not help me in the place where I want to move him. In DDL3, I need a Kelsey blow up game or two now. I don't know what I want to do. I had an intriguing offer in the OG league. It was Jaden Reed for Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren.
Oh, I got floated that same offer.
Very similar. Yeah. And he ended up making a deal sending I think he sent Jaylen Warren. So he ended up making a deal there, but it just wasn't quite my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need depth. I need star power in that league. So it was kind of the opposite way I wanted to move. Not that Jaden Reed has star power, but you're talking about two guys that are throwing up 10 points a game at running back. I don't need the bodies. I sat on it and contemplated it and was going to work on maybe a counter later, and he got that deal done. And I'm glad he got the deal done because he was trying to move at least one of those guys, and he might be still trying to move to the second one, but I don't know. It probably wasn't going to happen for me, so I wasn't upset that it happened, that he got it done. So I don't think I would. I kind of glanced at a counter early and then was like, I'll get back to that later. I'm not sure if there was really much there for us to work with.
You got okay. Getting back to last night's game, you got to buy, sell, or hold to pick from everybody.
Yeah, go buy Mark Andrews. I
just sent an offer to Stompy in the HQ league for his second for Andrews, which I will be late, but who knows? You got to test to see how sour everyone is on Andrews. He was banged up last year.
Right.
Likely blew up at the end of last year, and he just picked up where he left off at the end of last year. So there might be folks that just want to cash in and let's just get out of Andrews. But yeah, he's your buy.
Yeah. Andrews is my buy. If I can find somebody that's panicking on him, that's an easy buy for me.
Oof. If I had to pick one, I mean, that's who I'm buying. I mean, who else had a kind of mediocre type? We talked Derrick Henry too, possibly. Although
Derrick Henry's another good buy.
The folks that invested in him probably are mainly going to be the wait and see folks, unless you got the guy that's freaking out. Sell. Who are you looking to sell? Based on last night.
Likely is the easy. I mean, it's just low hanging fruit. Sell likely, sell worthy.
Yeah.
If you can do 2 firsts for worthy at this point, sure. I mean, we're again 3 targets, 1 carry.
But how many highlights? 3 highlights. 3 legit highlights.
Sell on the highlights.
And they're going to be all over because there's nothing to talk about today except last night's game. So they're just going to be showing worthy and likely.
The big thing on any, and I have not listened to any sports radio this morning, but the big thing on sports radio is going to be the final call, and then Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice.
Mm-hmm.
As far as
and likely,
is Mark Andrews done? Is likely the new Mark Andrews? Is Mark Andrews just going to block all the time and be in line and likely going to play out wide? Whatever.
Capitalize on that news.
Overreactions from week 1 are great for movement. And especially if you're willing to not overreact.
Selling. Whom else am I selling? We're selling worthy. We're selling.
I don't know if there's another great sell.
You know who I'm buying also is. Well, no, never mind. I'll just say hold. It'll be my hold. Pacheco. Love. I think he's just going to be a steady guy all season.
Yeah, I mean, look, 18 touches. If you count targets as touches.
Yeah.
That's a a winner deal right there.
Want to call him a buy? I mean, he's usually buy when the news is bad, but
I don't think anybody thought watching Pacheco that he looked bad last night.
right.
He looked explosive. The yards per carry weren't there, but he looked good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know who else you're holding.
It's I mean, there's not Zay Flowers is a hold. You can't sell him right now. 6 for 37. That doesn't really do anything for you.
Yeah,
but
he needs some yards.
The fact that he got 10 targets, I want to see 10 targets all day, every day. That sounds lovely.
Carson Steele. What are you looking doing for him?
There's nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
I mean, he hasn't done much carries for 3 yards or something like that. What was it? Yeah, that's what it was. 2 carries, 3 yards. And outside of any return yardage leagues, that doesn't matter.
I mean, P. Ryan had a nice run. Everyone was talking about him when they picked him up. I guess he's the direct handcuff to Pacheco.
Yep, that's what we're all thinking, I think.
At this point, and Juju's just dead after that dumb drop he had. Hit him right in the hands.
Golly. Yeah.
Noah Gray just signed a huge deal, by the way. $10 million guaranteed over the next couple of years. They re-upped Kelsey's backup.
Good for him. Don't go buy him. Please don't go buy Noah Gray.
3-year extension.
For like 15 million.
I don't know what that means, but there was I mean, at one point he had a better day than Kelsey before Kelsey started getting.
Well, he ended up with a better day than Kelsey.
Yeah,
he had 3 for 37. Kelsey had 3 for 34.
Yeah, 3-year, $18 million deal.
Yeah, it's a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
it's a 2-year deal with the guaranteed money because I know it's probably like 10 or 11.
Yeah, get your offers out for Andrews. That's for sure.
Yep. Buy Andrews, and then yeah. I mean, I might even buy Rashee Rice if the price is right. Can I get him for like a single first?
Oh, Rice for a first? That's an easy one for you?
I'd give up. If I thought I was a playoff team, even a fringe playoff team, I'd give up my first for Rice. Yeah, easy. 9 targets. He had a almost 33% target share. Hit 9 out of 28. So what was that? 31%? Let's see. 32% target share. We're doing the math live on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go to Dynasty Trade Calculator, he's the equivalent to the 2024 112.
Yeah. See, I'd give any late first for Rashee Rice right now.
Yeah.
They look like they wanted him in the offense. They wanted the offense to revolve around him, the passing game to revolve around him. It showed.
Mm-hmm. And again, Hollywood's coming back too. I mean, 1 game sample is not a sample. So hopefully the targets continue.
Yeah. All right. And the other question is, again, Mahomes threw 28 times. There's more targets to come.
Mm-hmm.
How many passes did Patrick Mahomes throw last year? I don't remember, so I'm looking it up. It's probably like 580 or something. If I had to guess, it was 597.
Oh, look at you.
597 divided by 17. Is that how many games he played? No, he only played 16 games.
Mm-hmm.
So 590. He was throwing 39 more pass attempts per game last year. That's a lot of targets. Hollywood can come back. He can get his 3 or 4 targets. Mm-hmm. Kelsey can get 2 or 3 more targets, and Rice can still get his.
Mm-hmm.
Like that 28 pass attempts. That all that was strictly just game flow, and the fact that they wanted to grind that clock. They didn't want that Ravens offense on the field.
Yeah,
there's been times when they throw 40 times, and Rashee Rice can get those 13 targets instead of 9. Yeah, I'm in. Give me some Rashee Rice. I might send some offers out. I don't know how productive they'll be.
Yeah, I mean, I have Rice in a handful of spots, and it would take something special for me. I mean, he looked really nice. He looked like he was. I mean, he's a second-year guy.
He's Slant Boy Rice. That's Slant Boy Mike. Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, buy Mark Andrews. That's the one, the biggest takeaway, because he's the one that has his value is just not looking good right now.
It's not because of Likely. I wouldn't say that Kelsey has the same kind of concerns because there's no Isaiah Likely over there. But man, maybe you can buy Kelsey as well. I mean, he's got a deal. He's going to play for a couple more years. I don't think he's Travis Kelsey of 2-3 years ago, but I mean, I think he can be 900 yards and 8 touchdowns. Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
So with that kind of production, that's one of those set it and forget it tight ends.
All right,
man. Well,
wrap it up.
Off to work.
All right, dude. Another game tonight, and then the full slate this weekend and on Monday. Lots to talk about next week when we will see you again. Thanks for listening to the Dynasty Hot Sauce Pod.
Check out our Patreon. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. All right. That's good. I'll let this rip right now.
It's a lazy. Yeah, that's it. That should be just an easy one. Throw it out there.
Yeah.
It's a lazy day around here. It's a lazy week for me this week.
Oh yeah.
And then I get back on the grind next week. Yeah, I've been moving my stuff into my shop.
I was about to ask, how's that coming?
It's going slow. There's so much shit. But I had a client cancel, and then I had another couple short jobs. But I think it gets crazy on me next week and keeps on going. I've already booked out almost all of my entire November and October.
Nice. Oh, then it's Christmas light season.
That's what November is. It's Christmas season. Nice. We start. Let's see. The first Christmas stuff is on the 28th of October, I think, and it runs all the way through the second or the first week of December through the 4th.
Is that like the biggest cash cow of the year?
Oh, I love it. I hate it, but I love it. Because it's just.
Well, when you know what you're doing, you're just like bam, 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 bam. You're just
mindless. Right? It's so mindless work. I'm really good at putting lights on trees now.
Yeah, I bet.
And then I do ribbon. I do the ribbon on the trees for the girls.
Oh wow!
And then they go in and do ornaments while I do other stuff. But I'll go in and put the lights on and then the ribbons, nice. Looping around and stuff. Because I've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah.
And then while I'm doing that, they're doing other stuff, and then they come in, and then I go do garland on the front doors or whatever it is I got to do. And
nice.
Wrap trees and lights and stuff like that. But just mindless work that gets paid lots of money.
Yeah, I'm Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are 9:30 to 12:30. I have that 3-hour kind of window those 3 days.
Heard. That might work out. I can look at my calendar and kind of pick days where I can do this, an hour in the morning or something like that. It won't be next week. Yeah. Because Monday I got a morning appointment. Wednesday I've got I'm working all day, and then Friday I'm hunting.
Oh, hunting for what?
Deer.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it on next week's show. I got a bitch.
Deer season.
Mm-hmm. It's here. Here.
Nice.
I took off on Friday from both jobs.
Oh yeah?
All day.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I just this is the first day I've been solo. Because Colin's been he's been with me, Cassie's been with me the last few weeks, so it's just been this is my first day without anybody. And so this worked out perfect.
Nice. Yeah, it was kind of an easy week. I was kind of flexible all week long with that. So now I have to go set up. I brought this camera to the house to set up. I got to set up this little Arlo camera for this lady and then take it to her house and hang it up. I did some in Oxford last week for her. So
nice.
Anyways, all right, brother.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.
Right, later.